Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Chappelle.
And my name is Cody Rigsby. And if you just spent $2.99 a minute calling Miss Cleo, this is your weekly episode of Tactful Pettiness.
And I have to say, Cody and I, something I cherish about our friendship is that we love having experiences together.
Yes.
We value experiences actually over actual
monetary things. Although you are really good at a gag gift. You're a good gift
because
getter.
I listen
you
to
do,
throughout
and you
the year.
Hold on to the information.
Exactly. And then I'm like, oh, it'd be real. If I see it, then I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the thing.
Yes.
Anyhow.
Also, before we go any further, for anybody that's watching the video on YouTube, I would just like everyone to know that I went to go get Botox and laser yesterday. So that is why, if you're watching the video, my face is a little red.
I think it looks really good. Here in person.
I appreciate it. It's gonna look fantastic in about 10 days. Shout out to my girl nurse Tara. She always gets me together.
Okay, not an ad.
Not an ad, but the forehead has not yet to frozen. Elsa, let it go.
Well, we're not. So the forehead will be frozen, but our souls are going to be
uplifted and freed.
We are having an experience together because we have Chris Corsini here, who is a tarot card reader, energy reader, psychic.
All of the above.
He is going to get us together today. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Chris.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And your skin looks great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. In a couple of days, you'll look even better.
You can see it.
It's
coming. I see it.
It's the vision.
It's the vision.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. We've been very excited for this meeting, and reading.
Yeah.
Because we're good at reading, but not that kind of reading.
Correct.
We're going to look at, you're a Gemini, you said, correct?
I'm a Gemini, yes.
Amazing. That's why the talking is so quick and so
fast.
Okay.
Read
you're
me.
a Scorpio, correct? Mm-hmm. Right. So we'll look at a little bit of your own individual, maybe love lives or what's coming up. And then for the guests, we'll talk a little bit about which signs match with what signs and maybe why each of them are unique and beautiful in their own way and whatnot. But yeah, there'll be a little bit of everything for everybody.
I love that.
That will be helpful.
Tell us, how did you land in this world?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get here?
How did you identify that you had the gift?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have the gift, first of all. So that's one thing for us to recognize. Well, like you have a friend and this probably happens between the two of you a lot where you're like, oh, I'm thinking of him. And then he calls me, or I just thought of my mom and she sent me a message or something like that. Like that's obviously you just picking up on the energy field.
Okay.
And so we all have that. And then what you can do, like when you go to the gym and you practice with lifting weights or running or whatever, like your cardio gets better, your muscles get stronger. So you do the same thing with your psychic gifts. And
great analogy.
Yeah, it's honestly not that hard. And we all have an innate capacity to be able to do that. So I feel like I was just, as a child, I used to see like a lot of ghosts and shit like that. So that was always kind of terrifying.
I've seen a ghost.
Where?
Really?
Wait, oh my God. Where was it?
No,
I definitely remember being like, bitch,
there's a ghost up in
I
here.
can't remember exactly where it was, but I was like, that was a ghost.
When
That was a ghost.
When my boyfriend Joe moved into his new apartment, he had been there for I think maybe a few weeks, and he saw ghosts.
I'm sure.
Wait, no, now I know what it is.
You remember? Okay,
bitch.
Well, I'll pause mine.
The ghost would come. The ghost would come to my old apartment on President Street with Quentin and French.
Yeah,
and French would be there, and the door would just like open.
Right.
Oh.
Like, bitch, it was shut. It was maybe not locked, but it was shut firmly.
Oh,
and
my.
It would just.
They love opening a door or like turning off the TVs or like flickering the lights.
I was just like, hold up. No, and it happened a few times.
Well, tell me about this, because Joe said that he was sleeping and he woke up and felt a presence. He opened his eyes and he saw
a figure or something.
A figure standing over the bed and was just like kind of looking over the bed. Like he was standing on the side of the bed looking over the bed. And Joe said he was so scared. He didn't move. And he was just like, he didn't feel like the ghost could see him. He felt like it was just there. So he was like, I'm just going to lay as still as possible. And he closed his eyes. And when he opened his eyes back up, it was gone.
I have a couple clients that have had like really extreme like night terrors and stuff like that too, where they wake up and there's probably people who've also experienced this. And you have like this pressure on your chest, like you can't move and you're like frozen and you just know there's something there. And it's kind of a terrifying experience if you don't know what's going on. But yeah, we definitely on some level permit these things to happen or allow these things to happen, which is kind of confusing to people because they're like, well, I'm not doing that. And it's like, okay, well, if we want to get into like the subconscious programming, like on some level you are doing that. But what's really helpful is that if you are doing that, then you can do something different. So it's actually like an empowering thing to realize that you're allowing certain things to happen It's like if you're in a relationship, especially when you're like having sex with someone or you have like a deep intimate connection with somebody, and then after you break up, like there's still this energetic cord that is attached, right? So sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, I'm over this like fucking loser. But then you have this like really deep grieving process or like a deep emotional purge or a feeling of some kind. And like for you to be in that space, but you're like, I didn't even really like them that much. It's like, well, no, but this energetic cord, you're actually feeling them probably processing you and you're interpreting it as your own grief, but it's not your grief, it's their grief. So we do certain things like a cord cutting or to reclaim your own like energy, so to speak, because over time we fragment pieces of ourselves and we make these unconscious agreements or conscious agreements like marriage, for example, to here's a part of me, I get a part of you, and we're going to be in this together. But then after you split, if you don't call that part back or cut their part out and send it back, like there's techniques that you can do to actually clear those cords and stuff like that. And it's super helpful, especially if you're going through like a heartbreak
Yeah, we might need to have we might need to see you again privately off the air.
You know
to
what?
Cut some cords.
I do this with a lot of clients.
Can we go a little bit further in this?
course.
And maybe we're off of things. Like, okay, I'm gonna actually get somewhat vulnerable here.
Go for it.
We love that.
I know. I am in a place where I am very much past my last relationship. I feel let go and I don't want that person in my life. But I feel, and I've read I've seen some TikToks talking about this, and it kind of correlates to this. It's this idea of like emotional justice.
Okay.
Of wanting the other person to kind of like know their wrongs or vice versa. And I feel like that is part of the like grieving process. So I wonder what
I don't know if it's
how
part
you would
of the,
cut that.
I would honestly probably drop that into like an
Mental
ego
health.
battle.
Yes.
Mental health.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it
For
becomes
sure.
a part of me that's like, I want you to know that you're wrong and how you hurt me.
Yeah.
But like, that's really not even empowering you because what are you going to do? They're going to feel your pain for a second and then you're going to be like, great. And it's like, you still have to live your life and move on. So like, instead of where people get stuck is like, if you're investing, let's say 20% of your energy, some people are like 50, 60, 70% of their energy into like, what is he doing? Where is he? Who's he with?
Yeah.
I want him to feel this. I want him to see me. I'm posting these Instagram stories. Like what
I'm
you're
not saying all that,
doing.
but
And not you probably,
no.
but like people do that, you know?
Of
It's
course.
like the amount of energy that you're
The general
putting,
we.
Yeah, the general we, exactly.
general
Nobody
us.
at this table. But the amount of energy that you're pouring into whatever that is like some ego battle.
For
And
sure.
like what you're actually doing is still sending them your energy and you're still sitting here engaging with them. What's actually a way better option is to like call back all of that energy, watch the part of yourself that is like hurt and wants to teach them a lesson or whatever, and just be like, this is like an unhealthy part of myself that I'm just literally wasting my energy feeding. So like, why would I not just feed the parts of myself that actually feel good, which is like going to the gym, like doing your skincare routine, like maybe dating someone else if you're ready or whatever. But like, this is where we fall into these traps of like, well, I want to show them. And it's like, well, what the fuck are you trying to show them? Like, you're actually just wasting your own time. You know what I mean? So the sooner you pull that back and then you just like are healthy, like they're going to see you be healthy anyways.
Of course.
And then that's going to hurt way more than you trying to show them something. So
What's the quote?
Let them.
Well, that too.
let them.
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
I got a girl.
Yeah.
No, not that. Well,
I don't know what you're trying to say. We have because we've known each other for a long time, but we've also been doing the podcast now for long enough that we have been starting to kind of know what the other person's gonna say every now and
For
then.
sure.
Which has been kind of exciting. Yeah.
And like, I'm sure you've had at some point like dreams that came true or like anything like that. And maybe not. You look like that's a no. Have you ever had like a dream and then you're like, oh my God, this happened? Or like a deja vu experience
I've had
where you're like, I've been
deja
there
vu
before.
experiences for
intense deja
sure.
vu, yeah.
I have like some reoccurring dreams. One of them is that it's like my senior year of college and I don't know that I've already graduated, but like it's like graduation time and someone's being like, no, ho, you don't have enough credits.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
You know?
So, like, I'm gonna
I
get
have the
stuck
actor
here.
version of that
Is
dream
it?
where like I'll be back in Hamilton and like I will, for whatever reason, can't get my costume on with the mic and can't get to the stage. Like I've had this dream countless
Oof,
times.
that's my worst nightmare.
And it has changed depending on what show I've done. So like it will have been a show from earlier if I
Yeah, this like stress dreams.
oh
like
my
being out of
gosh, it
control
is
of
so
something.
much
Yeah.
stress. Yes.
Well, like you can also, I mean, again, you could do a whole session on this, but like sitting down and really understanding like what part of the subconscious is trying to come up because like there's something there in your mental processing or your emotional processing that hasn't maybe been fully processed. And it's like, okay, well, how can I, just sit with that for a second and work with somebody to actually unravel these things? Because if they're showing up in one area of your life, they actually show up in so many other areas of your life unconsciously, because it's a frequency, right? So it's just going to be like in your field, and it's going to manifest in a lot of different ways. A lot of people think that they just have like control issues over like one thing. And it's like, well, if you actually want to zoom out,
he's very type A.
I'm very type A.
Controlling of everything.
Yeah.
Well, a Scorpio is like wanting to be in control too.
Very
like you're a
type A.
fixed energy, which is like, let me do it because I can do it properly. You also probably have a bit of like trust issues with other people doing something properly. You're like, I'll just handle it myself.
That resonates well with me.
But then
too,
you take on so much of like shit that you don't have to take on, because you're like, well, you could actually just put somebody in a role. Like if you can find the right person who can, if you can delegate to the right person who has the capacity to do it, then that's great. But what a lot of people will do, and I work with a lot of clients sort of just figuring out why they always get into relationships where their needs are unmet, or they're working at a job where like they don't have the proper support or whatever. And we always go back to our like original programming and patterning. So if you grew up in a household where you like didn't have your needs met in some capacity, or your parents weren't able to like emotionally help you like get through some issue, then it's like you're gonna continue to manifest that in your relationships, work agreements and stuff. So then you
this is giving attachment theory now.
Right? Totally. Yeah. Like these are all really sort of rooted in like our earlier years when we're in that like really formative state. So I don't know. But the issue is when people are so unconscious to them, and then you are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, it's like these programs and ideas run your fucking life, and they just create havoc until you're like, wait a second, I need to start calling this back.
Laundry sauce. You know I love to use my laundry sauce. I have been loving the laundry sauce. The packaging, yes, but it's really the scents. The scents are delicious. There's 3 scents, but I'm going to tell you about 1 scent today, and that is the Egyptian rose, honey. The Egyptian rose is giving me everything I need from a bespoke laundry detergent and dryer sheet. I'm loving the scent. These powerful pods are packed with bioenzymes that wipe out stains, all while leaving your clothes with a luxurious, long-lasting scent. In fact, just the other day, I washed my bathroom rug with the laundry sauce Egyptian rose laundry pod. Joe came into the apartment and he took a few steps in and he says, "What is that delicious scent?" I wish I was making this up. And I, like I was doing an ad, like I am now, said, those are the Egyptian rose laundry sauce pods that I use to wash the rug. Couldn't make it up. Right now, get 20% off your order when you use code TACTFUL at laundrysauce.com. It starts with Egyptian geranium and violet leaf. Then a spicy kick of nutmeg adds warmth and depth. Damask rose, honeyed hawthorn, cinnamon, and clove come together for the perfect mix of floral and spice. And then the coup de grace. Vanilla bourbon and velvetry musk create a smooth, warm finish, while Haitian vetiver and Virginia cedarwood add a rich, sophisticated touch. Everything your garments deserve. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code TACTFUL at laundrysauce.com. That's 20% off your order at laundrysauce.com with promo code TACTFUL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Now you need to let them know that Tactful Pettiness sent you. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to make Laundry Day the best day of the week, in addition to Thursdays when you listen to our podcast, okay?
So how does what you do assist with that, of like the breaking of the patterns and letting go of past traumas and like, you know, coming into a new energy, coming into new habits, new patterns, so we're making a conscious choice to do better?
Yeah, so this is where I think just like the collective, like all people are really interested in stepping into a more like consciously created lifestyle.
Yes.
Where they're like, okay, I don't want to just be like the victim of all these patterns and I'm like chasing these things all the time. I want to actually like recognize why my brain does what it does, and then I want to be able to like unravel that. So currently I'm writing a book and we're talking about different modules and ways to do that so that people can actually like figure out what the fuck's going on with them. But a lot of the stuff that I do like on Instagram, for example, every month I have like free horoscopes. So if you're a Gemini, there's like a reading for Gemini. And that's just me like intuitively using tarot cards, and I know about the astrology and just kind of saying like, this is what I'm feeling is going to come up for you this month. So if it's going to rain, I'm going to tell you to bring an umbrella so you're more prepared. Or if there's amazing opportunities coming, like keep your eye out for those things. So those are one really easily digestible, free resource that people have to be able to like understand what's coming up. And then if you want to go deeper, we do like new moon and full moon workshops, because every month there's like a new moon. So we just had a new moon in Aries, for example. And like, regardless of you believing in astrology or not, the energetic signature of this moment in time is asking us to really like liberate ourselves and show up in a new way. Like our identity is changing. Who we are now versus who we were 6 months ago or 6 years ago is a completely different person. So a new moon in Aries, like we just had, this was really closing out a 2-year cycle. And the 2-year cycle that we've been working with has like North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. And if you're looking at the South Node in Libra, and sometimes the language is confusing for people, so like don't get fixated on that. Just listen to the theme that I'm talking about. The last 2 years, we have been in and out of relational dynamics, whether it's business, friends, love. And those relational dynamics have been showing us how we sacrifice our own needs to keep the peace, or how we say, okay, my needs maybe don't matter here, so I'm not going to say what I need, or maybe I need more money, but I'm scared to ask for it. And if I do ask for it and then I don't get it, am I going to stick around and keep doing this? Like, no, like I'm actually valuing myself more. So I need more money. I need more healthy relationships in my life. I don't want to be even relating to like, Libra's not just about relationships. It's about how we relate to things. So how you relate to your body, how you relate to coffee, how you relate to your habits. You know what I mean? So the last 2 years, there's been a lot of things coming up showing people where their relationships or how they relate to drinking and partying or whatever is now outdated. And they're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So we just closed that cycle a couple weeks ago.
So what is the new cycle about?
Right. So the new cycle, because so you have these eclipses that are more or less in the same 2 signs.
Okay.
And that happens for about 2 years, let's say.
Come.
So we're closing out that 2-year cycle.
Come.
I think it's actually like 18 months or whatever, but just for this conversation, it's a 2-year cycle, and that is now closed. We just finished it at the end of March with a new moon eclipse in Aries. Okay. So that eclipse is like a new door opening. So we are all now stepping into this new energy field.
Okay.
The new energy field requires us to advocate for ourselves. It requires us to show up, to just speak our truth, and to do that in a way that is not keeping us out of balance because we continue to water down our needs for these relationships that don't actually serve us. It's like, fuck these relationships. If you can't meet my needs, and like what I was saying before, maybe you have patterning because you grew up and your needs were unmet as a child in some capacity. Well, then that relational pattern keeps showing up. So over the last 2 years, for a lot of people, that's been getting really loud. And now we're like, okay, like, you can't meet my needs as a lover, or you can't meet my needs as a boss or as a friend. Like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. And
that could also just be us being in our 30s too.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally.
I don't need a moon to tell me that.
Yeah, no, that is definitely part of it. And if you really want to look at your like 30s, once you get to like, it depends on everybody a little different, but once you get to about age 27, 28, 29, 30, you go through a Saturn return. So when you're born, Saturn is in one area of your chart, and about 30 years later, he's back at that same area. So when he arrives at that same area, that 30-year cycle is complete. The learning, the lessons, the karma is now being paid off and retired. So a lot of people.
And you're starting a new cycle.
And you're starting a new cycle.
And he's like, bitch, the first time I came around, I gave you life. Now watch what I'm about to do for your ass this time around.
Right, if you don't pay attention.
Okay.
Because Saturn
open your eyes.
is a disciplinary. Saturn will slap you across the face. But if you listen to Saturn and you work with him properly, he's like the coach that will like get you to the fucking Olympics. So like Saturn's a really helpful energy. And what's interesting right now, if you want to talk about Saturn, is that we just had this Saturn Kazemi. So that's when Saturn and the sun come together. So it's like a rebirth of Saturn. That happened at the same time as this eclipse. So this Aries eclipse is asking you to show up in a new way. And we're all working with this energy for the next like 6 months, 12 months, like indefinitely. So this is like applicable whenever people are listening to this. So that Saturn Cazimi was like, okay, this is a reset of Saturn. So this is now a reset of my boundaries. This is a reset of like any like daddy issues or programming we have around like unhealthy relationships.
Saturn's over here dealing with the daddy issues too.
Literally at daddy issues.
I just didn't expect Saturn to know about daddy issues. Just caught me off
Saturn
guard.
is the daddy of the zodiac. You know, it's like Capricorn energy. He's like,
He's got money.
He's got money. He rules money.
Resources.
Like
He's got money.
yeah, Saturn's got money, daddy.
Okay.
So like he's a vibe. But what's really nice about Saturn is that he rules limitation. So what we were talking about in this book that I'm writing is like we need to start working with containment and limitation in a new way, because you can either like contain your dreams to live in a fucking nightmare, or you can contain the nightmare to live in your dream.
Hey,
you know?
okay.
So how do you
Chandala,
balance and it's the same thing with relationships. Like you can contain the fuckboy energy to be like, I'm going to hold space for an actual man, or you could contain your availability to connect with an actual man and continue to entertain these fuckboys who don't know what they're doing, you know? So what part of you are you valuing? And that's that Aries eclipse. You need to show up in a new way and be like, maybe I like the fuckboys every now and then, but like I want, you know, the daddy who can take care of me or whatever.
I will say it's illuminating talking to you now, because when I got my tarot read 2022 or 2023, I don't recall. I didn't know what to expect, but the thing that I took away from it was just being reminded that I'm in control of my own life, my own decisions, and something that the reader explained to me, because I was a little skeptical when I went. I was like, so you're going to tell me everything about me? And she was just like, no. She was like, I just listen for signs. She was like, so you can do, like you explained, like you can do the same thing. Like if you have an idea, that's
something you should look at.
Yeah, look into the idea. And it really did unlock something in me that I've held on to dearly since that reading, which was to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to my surroundings.
Totally.
And sometimes it can be a little hokey pokey, but like really, really just trying to make sense of some things as they whiz by, because life, particularly as we get older, life is moving at an alarming rate. And it's like
fast.
It only gets faster and faster.
Like it truly, like we just celebrated Christmas, and honey, she is almost like
she's right around the corner.
You know what I mean? And I think that increasing in awareness about how fast life is passing us by, also for me, makes me cherish it a little bit more, because you know we've all experienced loss, I'm sure, and I think that it's important to live our life as fully as we can, with the boundaries, achieving our dreams, making our dreams come true. And I feel like what I love about what you do is just to help facilitate that in folks that maybe don't have access to it all the time or in as strong of a way.
Yeah, like what I try to also do is take these concepts and ideas, and like I can use language, like I said, like the Saturn Cazimi and these things. And some people are like, oh, I know what you're talking about. And other people are like, I have no idea. And it's like, I also always want to just like consolidate that into some type of helpful information. I think what really resonates about like my online following and the speed that it sort of grew at was just that even with these tarot card readings every month, it's like, bitch, leave this man. Like he's a fucking loser. Ooh. Like go in this direction, do this. This is what I'm seeing. And I'm not going to sit here and try to present it in this way that's like, I know everything and you don't know anything and this is unattainable.
Are people asking you that specific question? What should I do about X person?
Absolutely. If somebody was like, I'm going to do a business deal with this person, something feels off. Do you think that this is me being in my head, or do you think this person is lying to me about something? Like in 2 seconds, I could pull 2 cards and be like, you're either like right on the money, this person's a liar, or like, I think you actually just need to sort through some things.
Okay, that's really interesting that you say that, because I have been in the last year kind of following the things that scare me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really interesting what you just said, because sometimes something can scare you because it's unfamiliar, it's pushing a boundary.
Yes. Or it's triggering an outdated perspective that because your ego will only ever predict the future based on its experience of the past.
Yes.
So like your ego cannot see potential. Your soul can, your like, you know, third eye, dreamer, vision, whatever like woo-woo label you want to label it as. Like your soul can see potential. That is like the heart space that we talk about where you really dream from. But like your ego is going to be like, don't do this. Like I am literally wired for your survival. And the last time you stepped into this type of environment, you got fucked.
Yes.
But what I also lead people through is like, even if you were, let's say, to take a chance and get quote unquote fucked again, it's like who you are now is, let's say, a 35-year-old man. You've got a job, you've got resources, you have support groups, you have people like me to help you through it. Like you're good. Where your fear is coming from is like when your parents got divorced when you were 10 and your family fell apart, and all of a sudden, like you're applying a 10-year-old's understanding to your 35-year-old's experience.
Agreed.
You're going to bounce back way faster. So take the fucking chance.
One of my themes in life is always like, you've made it this far and you've survived.
Exactly.
You've made it this far and you survived. And like whatever you're jumping into next that is so unknown and that's scary and fearful, regardless of what that outcome is going to be,
you're good.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it through it no matter what, because you've already built up the skills that you need to get to the next step. It might not be the exact outcome you want, but you're gonna be fine. You always figure it out.
And a lot of the thing is like people are like, okay, what does this look like at step 100? And it's like,
bitch, I
nobody
don't know.
fucking knows. And like you literally like
Take
as
step
you
one
take the
first.
step, the next step reveals itself.
Yep.
Like that's such a cliche thing to say, but you will know what to do when you are in the next step. Like you can't be sitting here and like you're all hyper vigilant. You're trying to control every fucking outcome and you're trying to project all your fears and insecurities onto the future. It's just like, oh my God, just take the step. Like go for it. You'll be fine, you know?
Mother's Day shopping is easy, right? Wrong. Every year you have no clue what to get and your mom is no help. I mean, what do you get for the woman that did so much for you to raise you and care for you, nurture you? It's a very nuanced gift. So if you want to find something to make your mom feel special, look no further than your friends and our friends at Quince. Everything is high quality, feels super thoughtful, and it's actually affordable. Like cashmere sweaters from $50, 14 karat gold jewelry. I actually got a ring that's from them that has held up very nicely. Italian leather bags, fragrances, and more. I have gotten many things, obviously, from Quince. We've talked about them before. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be to get the peony scented candle. I love peonies. So if your mom likes peonies, you could get her a bouquet of peonies and the peony candle. You know, something light and nice for Mother's Day. The best part about Quince is all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Okay, we all love a deal. And they do this by partnering directly with top factories. Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to you. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. And I know our moms will love that. Thoughtful, timeless, totally her. Shop Mother's Day at Quince. Go to quince.com/pettiness for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/pettiness to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pettiness.
It's also important to note that you can have a really clear vision for yourself that loved ones around you don't see clearly for you. And I think that's something that's really washed over me in a real way in the last like 5 years as I like start to make different changes in my life.
Yeah.
That like, I know what I see for myself.
Right.
Now, person A and B, who I love dearly and have been on the path with me my life, might be also holding on to an old version of me.
Totally.
And so...
And if you're changing, people around you don't want to see you changing because they have in their mind a reference point for who you are. So if you shift, then their reality shifts. And if you start living a healthier life, maybe you stop drinking so much or you stop doing X, Y, Z, and your family is all of a sudden being like, but I've always known you as a drinker. It's like, okay, but I don't think the drinking is necessarily aligned with me living the healthiest life. What are you doing? You're holding a mirror up to these people who are like, well, I'm not ready to change. And it's like, okay, and that's fine. And I still love you for that, but I'm going to move forward in my new way. But what happens is the whole energetic dynamics change because a lot of people, especially this happens a lot when people start setting boundaries in place. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but like people get upset when you create boundaries because they have been benefiting from you not having boundaries. So as soon as you're now like, I'm not going to do that anymore because it's not aligned with me, I have a boundary here. Everyone who is taking advantage of you without that boundary before is now like, well, what the fuck? I need you because I need to take from you. So this is where we also get into, again, energetic cord cutting and clearing. Like, I'm not asking you to not talk to your family anymore, but you need to understand where to place the significance, the importance, and the priority of what your family is doing or saying. Because if you're like, I'm going to go start a podcast, and they're like, nobody wants to hear from you. And you're sitting there being like, well, I think they do. And I think I could actually make a big impact. Like, there's a reason that you are being given that information because there is something already written for you in that path. Regardless if it becomes the most successful podcast ever, what's actually happening is you opening that door, taking that step. The next steps will reveal itself.
Learning the lesson that you need to learn from it.
Exactly. And those lessons, they build, the experiences build, and everything lends itself to the next step and the next step. So you might eventually become a producer for a podcast because maybe your podcast didn't make it, but you produce a hugely, important podcast that has massive impact and changes the world. And like, that's what you were meant to do, but you wouldn't have got there if you didn't take the first step.
I always make this analogy of like stepping stones. It's
Totally.
like you're always like stepping to the next stone, and sometimes you got to like sit there for a little bit before you have the strength or willpower or the courage to take the next leap, because like what you're learning in that space you're going to learn is going to help you into the next
it's going to be
adventure
applied and integrated.
It's like I always feel like I had to kind of fail. I succeeded as a dancer, but I also had to fail as a dancer to be like, this is no longer for me. And I didn't know what was next, but the next thing was like the biggest opportunity in my life.
Exactly. And if you didn't take that moment to also like reconcile with yourself, you're like, maybe I don't want to be a dancer, but your whole family is like, be a dancer. You're going to be the best dancer. And you're just like, something feels fucking off here. It's like, or the opposite thing. You want to do something and your family's like, I don't know about that. It's like, we're constantly processing. And this is where like, we have all these different bodies, right? So you have an emotional body, a physical body, an energetic body, a mental body, an ethereal body. Like, we have all these levels that are compounded, and these are all unseen bodies that are compounded into the physical. So our physical body is constantly processing so many layers of information. And the trick, especially with like the mental body, is that we sit here experiencing what we experience, thinking it's our own thoughts because it's our experience. But in reality, it could be projected fears, projected limitations from like your mother, who is like, I can't speak up because when I spoke up in the past, I, for example, came from an abusive relationship. And every time I would speak up, I would get hit or I would get shunned or I would get this or that. And that passes through the generations, right? So then you have this like young one who's like, I'm going to go out and speak. And the mom's like, don't speak, it's dangerous. But the kid's like, no, it's not. And now every time you want to speak, you're thinking, fuck, I'm in danger. You're not in danger. You are literally experiencing in the mental body your mom's thoughts that are like impeding on your ability to move
Jamie
forward.
Lee Curtis said, generational trauma.
Activia.
Hold
Not
that
an
yogurt.
No, they're
Not an
I
ad.
forget what's the horror film franchise
Freaky-
she does?
oh.
No,
No,
not Freaky
she does
Friday.
Halloween, no?
Halloween. There was a press tour where she literally like she was on 9 different shows, and like there's a quote where she just says trauma, like everything.
God.
Everything she's talking about is trauma. Speaking of trauma, let's get into your pairings for
Yeah.
I'd love to
astrological.
The best.
Now, these are all ones that are going to work well together.
Okay, I do want to preface
Or are
this
we going
with
to get
like,
into some? Are we going to get into some that are not going to work well together?
I mean, we could play around with both for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I have questions.
What I do want to preface this with is like, it's not the most accurate thing to be like, Gemini is always good with Gemini because like Geminis are great together. But like you want to look at a full natal chart because your natal chart or your birth chart is going to have its own unique setup. So what I would suggest for like anybody listening is like, I'm just going to use like a male-female dynamic here
That's
because it's
homophobic.
easier to explain. I know it's homophobic.
That is homophobic.
Okay, so then let's just remove
Damn.
all
Just
of that. And
kidding.
let's
Damn.
say-
Honey, we can't have nothing in this life.
No.
I mean, shit.
Like hyper political conversation everywhere I look is like, oh my God, navigating these things. But realistically, if you are, let's say, attracted to more masculine individuals, then if you're Mars, because Mars is a planet that is in your chart.
The daddy planet.
No, Saturn.
Saturn.
Women are from Mars.
Saturn has that
Men are
ring.
from
Saturn
Mars.
is the daddy.
Saturn's the daddy.
Exactly.
Saturn has the cock ring,
Yep.
and that's why he's daddy. Okay,
Well, you know
got it.
what? Mars could have a cock ring too, because he rules sex. He
Oh.
rules like our sexual
But does it have
impulses and
rings?
drives.
No, Mars has no rings.
No, he's just fiery.
He's just fire and red.
Yeah,
That makes
so he'd
sense.
be like in a sauna or in a steam room somewhere where fire, but Saturn's gonna tie you up.
For the record.
Yeah.
Don't
For
hit
the
on me in the
record.
steam room. I am there. I am
I am-
there.
This is
to
a pub,
relax.
this is now you telling the public, don't do that.
Don't do that. I haven't hooked up in a steam room in over a decade.
Oh, so you
Wow,
have, though.
gold stuff.
Yeah, of course. When I was
So what I'm
younger.
hearing is you
Yeah,
have.
okay, so
You don't think the David Barton steam room
Oh,
was
no,
a
I-
poppin' in
look,
Chelsea?
I
I'm
knew
sorry,
the
which one?
answer.
No, and then
sorry, which
it's
one was
because
that?
like once I came back, once I started being fitness as my profession, I said I'm not going out like this.
Fair.
I'm not going out like this.
No.
I'm not getting told by the manager at the gym that Cody Rigsby
Oh,
was.
sure.
You
sure,
know,
sure, sure.
it's not a good look.
Well,
yeah,
I can
that's-
find sex a lot of other places.
That stuff gets around
Boundaries.
too. Like we were in the boundaries. We were in the dressing room the other, well, not the other day.
Excuse me?
But no, like in a Broadway dressing room,
Uh-huh.
and the boys are talking, and somebody said a name, and I was like, that name, and they were like, yeah, and I said, wow, okay. So it's like you never know who's gonna
Be there
tell the
listening.
people that you were busy in the steam room either.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
see.
it's not always
Witnesses.
what is private to one is not private to
To
all.
all.
You might go and do it and not say, and then
But they could be lying.
sure
They could be lying.
Kill the witnesses.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Tell the people.
Go tell the people. In
Okay.
a general
help our
week,
help our listeners.
male-female dynamic,
Yeah.
masculine, feminine,
Yeah, a normal,
submissive,
a normal relationship.
dominant.
Right? And as you said, men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Okay.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, that's a
Well-
famous book.
Well, I know that.
No, but Mars does rule our masculine
Masculine
energy.
energy.
And we all have masculine energy, women included. You know what
course.
I mean? So it's like, it's not just one or the other. And anybody who falls anywhere on that spectrum of any type of identity, we all carry both masculine and
Agreed.
feminine energy.
Agreed.
So if you are really drawn to masculine energy, then you could look at where Mars is in your chart. And if Mars is in Leo, then Leo could be a good partner for you. Or
I
if you
don't
need
get along well with Leos.
I
They
get
annoy me.
that.
As a Gemini, yeah, because you want
They
to be
annoy
like
me.
spotlight. They want to be
Exactly.
spotlight. I know.
Exactly.
Like, I've got
I
a lot
know
to
this.
say, and
I know
can't
this.
Share the microphone with a Leo.
They wanna be spotlight is so funny.
No,
Yeah,
it is
like-
so true. It's like
It is. They
wanna
I
be
want the spotlight. They want it.
Leos want the spotlight?
Yeah, they're born for the
there's a lot.
stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Leos.
Oh wow. I was always drawn to Leos. I remember being drawn to Leos when I
Never in
was
my life.
in high school. And because I was drawn to Leos, I thought I'm destined to be with a Leo. And I
Right.
have never emotionally connected romantically with a Leo ever.
Well, the issue too is
Wait,
that like
lies.
you might be.
Me?
No, my sense. I forgot.
Oh.
It's Leo.
Do we want to expand on that? Or
No,
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 I was
okay,
like, I was
wait,
like,
I was like,
okay,
did
go.
I have one that?
No, I did have a Leo.
Yeah.
Lies.
How was that?
Good. Like, ended weird, but like
He did not
it
love
was
the
fine.
spotlight.
No, he liked the spotlight.
Yeah, he liked the spotlight.
That was just more compatibility, wanting two different things.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
I
know?
think sometimes we see in someone else what we admire about them, but really it's just like, oh, I actually admire that about me. And if I'm somebody who like makes a lot of decisions and like takes up a lot of space, and I like that in you, but then when we're together, it's like we're both fighting for the same amount of airtime or the same amount of, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden it looks like it's good in theory, and then when you're actually together, you're like, wait a second. And I think this is why maybe like a Leo and a Leo are not a great match, because like you need somebody who's like, I'm cool taking the
truly.
back seat, and
Oh,
like a
sure.
Leo's be like, don't fucking put me in the back seat, bitch. Like I'm driving this car.
Okay,
you know?
I see.
So yeah, that could be a thing. The other thing that I was going to say before is that in the same way we do that with Mars, you could look at your chart and see where Venus is. And Venus is a very loving, or even your moon. So your moon and your Venus placements are very like nurturing, safe, loving, sexy, expressive, like take care of me energies. And if your Venus or your moon is in Cancer, for example, then maybe a Cancer is good for you to date. So
I
that would be
see.
helpful for you to understand.
Okay.
Okay.
But I have a list
always
here
wondered about that.
of like who to
Like
date.
how to like figure it out.
Yeah, and what's like amazing is like I could actually, you could give me your chart and your partner's chart, and we can put it together and actually see like, oh, communication might be an issue, because maybe your Mercury, which is like the planet that
So
rules
you're mapping
communication.
out where there might be some
Issues
bumps
or-
or
Right.
what's gonna really work,
Mhm.
and so
And like I did this with my
gonna lean
ghostwriter,
into the
for
things that
example.
are like good. Like you're gonna lean
Right.
into what's
makes
gonna
sense.
work and be like, okay, this is our strength. And then you're like, but this is our weakness, and so we got to be cautious about communication.
Exactly.
Wait, did you hear
Got
what he
it.
said?
What?
He did this with his ghostwriter.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Because I was like, so I interviewed, I'm running a book with
I
Hay
did
House,
not.
and I interviewed like 3 ghostwriters and was like, okay, give me your charts. And like one of them literally was showing that like we have like a lot of past life things that we've done together. Like my Mercury is like right on her like area of the sky that would basically, I have this vision and she'd be able to communicate it really well.
Oh,
And that's
well,
shown.
that's
And I'm like,
perfect.
literally, I was like, this is amazing. So I'll
That's
take
perfect.
her. And honestly, she's great. That's actually why we're here. Shout out to Rachel.
I mean, also, if y'all
She's in Chelsea. She's amazing.
if y'all really are connected, you might not even need to tell her anything. She could just write the book,
Right?
buddy,
No.
mind to mind.
Literally, just like we just stare at
boop,
each
boop,
other.
boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop. I know, girl, don't say nothing. I know what to write in the book.
That's literally it.
Okay, what are the list? What are the lists? What are the
Okay, yeah.
compatibilities?
Okay,
3
so we've
faggots on
got-
a tangent.
Oh, good luck.
Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just the house or property. It's the location and neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also about schools, nearby parks, and transportation options. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking deep. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know all in one place. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
We've got 6 couples here. I just
Okay.
put them together basically saying like these are some good matches.
Good.
So
Okay. Great.
I like Aries and Leo together because they both bring a lot of passion and fire. They're going to keep things excited, but
Okay.
that Leo energy is going to be able to keep it like solid and safe. Leo's very, very protective, and Aries is also protective, but in a way that's like, I'll fucking fight for you. Like, don't come for me. And Leo's just like, okay, let's back up. Let's go home. Let's just like keep this, contained. But then if the claws need to come out, the claws come out. So
Aries sounds very embarrassing. That sounds very embarrassing to me.
Aries can be a little embarrassing.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think is it going to work for me as a Gemini and Aries?
You know what? I actually have a lot of friends who are Aries, and the Aries Gemini energy can be insanely explosive because you're looking at Gemini, which is mutable air. So this is like a fan and like wind. And then Aries is fire. So this is like a forest fire. It's like
Airbender,
not
firebender. Got it. Okay.
literally, you're not going to be able to contain it. So
Yeah,
like
we
if-
just saw what
No
happened.
one got
with
that reference. It's okay.
no, Airbender, firebender. Yeah, I did.
Avatar.
Yeah, no, we got it.
I love Avatar.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
Aang.
The real
Dang,
that live
Come on,
action didn't
Aang.
hit for me, but that's
No,
not,
you know what? I was watching that and I was like, I don't know about those.
it didn't hit for me.
You're talking about the necklace one, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It didn't hit.
Um,
Anyways.
okay, I do like Gemini and Libra because Libra
Balance
is,
the two
and I'm also like
sides.
dating a Libra right now too. It's like Libra has 2 sides, Gemini has 2 sides, so they're very good at being like, you want to do this? No, what about that? Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm flexible. Let's move. Like there's a nice flow there. And air energy is so good with air energy. So the air signs are Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini.
Double hurricane.
Double hurricane for sure. It can get a little chaotic, especially if it's like not a healthy air sign. But the conversation and like the wittiness and the jokes will just be like bing, 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 bing.
Good.
Like
That's good.
it's good.
I'm witty.
Yeah.
I would
But what-
say,
but-
and quick.
But he said, but what about him? No, we're talking about both. We're not talking about you.
No, we're
you by
talking, once
yourself.
again, not to make it about me, but to make it about me.
But if I
It's
have
about
to,
me.
you're witty.
Yeah, of course I
Yeah,
would
no,
say so.
Gemini for sure. They're
Yeah.
little social butterflies. And it's just, you need, especially you, like you need the mental stimulation. Whereas like you as a Scorpio and for all other Scorpios, like they need a lot of depth. So it's like, don't just sit here and be like, how's the weather? It's like, tell me really what's going on with you. Like, I want to get in. I want to understand like what's operating under the surface because it creates a sense of like intimacy and loyalty. And then you're also probably so loyal to like a fault. And then if that person does something to you, it's like, okay, where's my stinger, bitch? Because I'm going to fucking take you the fuck out right now. Like that idea of betrayal, especially for a Scorpio, is like, live and breathe revenge if I need to.
Yeah, I can like feel like flames on my face. Like yeah.
For sure. And like, so you as a Scorpio and all other Scorpios are ruled by Aries and Pluto. So Pluto is like a little obsessive. So you are ruled by Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto. I said Aries because Aries is also ruled by Mars.
Oh.
So Scorpio and Aries are both ruled by Mars. And there's this like, if you guys get into it, it can be like heads butting and like really violent kind of thing.
Joe's an Aries.
But the sex could be amazing. Like the sex could be really, really nice. And I don't know. I really like Scorpio energy, but it can become a little obsessive because of that Pluto. And Pluto keeps us spiraling sometimes. So, or keeps us really in the depths. Like if you get sad, you're probably like experiencing sadness like a Gemini never would, you know? A Gemini's gonna be like, get me the fuck out of here, I'm good.
Oh, just
and
last week I was so sad.
Yeah, like, but you're comfortable in it and you know how to navigate it and it doesn't scare you, but it could still be very overwhelming for like your nervous system, you know?
Like I know any feeling passes, you know?
Exactly.
It's just like you just have to make it to the next station.
I also have Cancer and Pisces because they're both really deep feelers. They're both really like, they're connected to the soul, they're water signs, and they just want to like feel safe and create and play. So I really like that combination. I've got something here for Virgo and Taurus. They're both practical.
Okay, what's a Virgo again?
A Virgo is a mutable earth sign.
No, she wants to know like the days.
I was sending you Capricorn, and you didn't say it, so that's
Capricorn.
Good to know.
Do I have Cap here? Actually, I have Capricorn and Virgo are nice together. Yeah,
but not Taurus and Capricorn.
I don't love Taurus and Capricorn because they are both really hard-headed.
Okay, T.
So Taurus is like, I want this, and Capricorn's like, I want that. And then it's like, instead of having like a mutable sign, like a Gemini or a Sagittarius or a Virgo, mutable signs are going to be like, okay, cool, let's find a balance.
Yeah.
A fixed sign and a cardinal sign are going to be like, fuck off, I want this and I'm not sacrificing that. And then it's like, well, do you love me? Well, yeah, but I don't. And then it's like, do you even like me? And it turns into this like dramatic thing.
Wow.
Whereas like signs that are mutable, or like a Cancer is a cardinal sign. So you have three. You have mutable, which is like very flexible. You have cardinal, which is like leadership energy. The cardinal signs are Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra. So those four signs are gonna get shit done. They're great leaders, innovators, they're fighters.
Aries is the god of war.
Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the god of war. Yeah.
Wow.
And I believe he rules Tuesday.
I strictly know that from watching Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh my God. She was Canadian, I think.
Show.
A very important show.
Very important
Iconic.
show. Yeah.
An iconic lesbian but not lesbian show.
Yeah, like as lesbian as one could be at that point.
No,
on
lesbians are
television.
obsessed with that show.
Yeah, all that
course.
They
armor.
love that show.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, it's got gear and armor.
That and Sade.
I love Sade.
Honey. So does the
Xena.
lesbian community. They love Sade.
And a Subaru.
And to that I say, what's not to love about Sade?
And what's there not to love about lesbians?
Fair on all fronts.
You know how many lesbian friends I need to come like put in a light bulb for me?
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, guys, help me.
Oh my God.
I actually don't have a lot of lesbians in my life, and that's unfortunate.
Oh really?
Not like a lot. No.
I have one lesbian who like runs my entire company. She's a lesbian Scorpio. Her name's Asha.
Mm-hmm.
That bitch gets shit done.
I know she does.
I see that.
My writing partner is a lesbian, and we do the line dancing together.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
A lesbian line dancer.
Yeah, she teaches line dancing. So
Is she a
it's
linebacker also?
Big back.
No.
Big back.
No.
Broad
Big back
back.
as hell. I love to eat.
For sure.
Not
A big
pussy.
back. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we've got sorry, the Virgo. You were asking me, are you dating a
I'm a
Virgo?
Taurus, and
She's-
so I need to look for a Virgo, I think is what you're saying.
A Virgo would be good for you, yeah. And like
Oh.
Virgos just get shit done. They're incredibly talented caretakers. They pay attention to every detail. They can like literally manage anything, and they just want things to look perfect, and they think of every fucking detail. Like my mom's a Virgo. Actually, my mom's like your biggest fan. So like, hey
love.
mom.
Hey,
But
Mom.
like Yeah, Kathy Love, she gets shit done. And I think
That's her mom's name?
Kathy Love, yeah.
That's her God-given birth name?
Her God-given birth name is Love, Kathy
I
Love.
love that, Kathy Love.
Right? There she is.
Wow.
So yeah, I think if you were to date a Virgo, it'd be better because like you and a Taurus are just gonna hit heads. It can be nice. Like I'm not saying this is like a no-go ever, but it's like
Are there no-goes?
I want to say no because I don't like any of those like hard and fast rules. I think you need to live your life, and I think that if you want something to work, you'll make it work, you know, especially if you're both healthy people. But the issue with a lot of these combinations that don't work is that like if you have like unprocessed trauma, you're like a super unconscious individual, you have like addiction issues, then you're not going to be healthy for fucking anything or anyone.
Correct.
So like you dating whoever is still going to be a shit show.
This
you know?
is one ingredient to consider.
Exactly.
Like, I've always been a little wary of people who are like, well, oh, you're a Scorpio, like, okay, stay away.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, actually, yes, please stay away. Like, you know what I mean?
Right?
It's like, that's really, really intense.
We get that a lot because people are like Gemini, oh, they're like liars or they're this. And I'm like, no, Geminis are actually like so good at being able to chameleon into different environments. Like I could go into one environment and be so polished and perfectly presented. And then I could go into like this podcast and just like laugh my ass off. And it's like, that is our talent of shape shifting. Not that I'm sitting here manipulating you with my shape shifting, but if you're unhealthy.
I get along very well with other Gemini.
For sure, because Gemini and Gemini is a great match. Like romantically.
On a friendship level.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever dated a Gemini. I don't know.
Literally, I would say like professionally, romantically, sexually, like everything, because Geminis are so like, let's try it, let's do this. And you just put two of them in a room together, they're just gonna have fun, you know? Scorpios, again, same thing, but like if you put a Scorpio and a Scorpio together and they believe in two very different things, it's like, what's gonna happen? Have you seen two Scorpions literally in the same room? They're gonna get territorial and fight each other, you know? So it's like.
So what is a Scorpio like in an ideal world? What would a Scorpio be good with? Because
like
Scorpio's water, right?
Yeah, it's fixed water. So if you think about fixed water, sorry, that's what I was saying before. You have mutable, which is flexible.
Okay.
Okay. You have fixed, which is like stuck. Fixed income, exactly. Stuck. So fixed water, which is Scorpio, is like ice.
Oh.
So like for you to get into a Scorpio's heart, like think of how long it would take for you to thaw out all of that ice, right? To create like actual movement with the emotions. Yeah. But in the same way, you'll be able to like compartmentalize like, oh my God, this traumatic thing happened or that heartbreak happened or this. And it's like, instead of being like, okay, let me dive in and process, sometimes they're like, I'll just put that over here and save that for 20 fucking years down the line. But if you're in a position where you're like, I mean, you have like I think it's called the Maslow hierarchy of needs, which is like, do you have shelter? Do you have food? If all of your needs are met, you can then actually begin to explore your own inner psyche. And this is a big problem with a lot of people who are like part of minority groups or have limited access to resources or whatever.
If you can't eat, you're not worried about your fucking generational trauma. You're not worried about
the Venus.
You're not worried about the relationship problems. You're like, I need to eat and have a house over my head.
Exactly.
So
like you sit here and it's like we're all projecting our unprocessed traumas on each other, and then we want to like blame people for it, and then you're sitting there being like, these people don't even have access to clean fucking water. Like, give them a break, you know? So this is part of like, I do a lot of like charity work and like we donate to a lot of different programs and stuff like that. So part of what we're trying to do is make sure that people's needs are met. And then all the resources that I have, like I would say 90% of them are either like sliding scale or pay what you can, so that people can just pay like $1 and they can watch a moon workshop. It's like 20 minutes. It like helps them paint a picture of what's going on. Like, I don't think that this type of knowledge or resource should be like a luxury. Correct. And the same thing, like,
and it is
for sure.
Just having time to have a conversation is a luxury.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's like you having all your needs met is a luxury. You having 30 minutes a month to be able to take time for yourself and understand what's going on in the stars or whatever, like that is a luxury in itself. So I'm not going to put like a price tag of $100 on top of that. You know what I mean? It's like even more inaccessible. So anyways, yeah, I think you were asking me about Scorpio.
Oh yeah, just like, you know,
what's a
good sign to accompany Scorpio?
I think like you being with somebody who is just strong and like can hold you going into your shit, because like when you go into your stuff, like you're gonna really go into it, you know what I mean? Like a Scorpio is gonna feel the depth of all those emotions. A Scorpio also can sometimes become like I said, a little obsessive or overzealous. So to be with a partner who's just gonna be able to be like, maybe not today. Like maybe let's just take a breather. Like, do you need some time? Like, give you some space when you need it. Like, these are going to be good energies for you to deal with.
Okay.
And again, it's like, it doesn't need to be a sign. It could just be a personality trait, you know?
Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just the house or property. It's the location and neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also about schools, nearby parks, and transportation options. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking deep. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know all in one place. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Well, I believe it is time
Oh yeah.
for the reading.
Let's do our
'Cause
reading.
we are.
Yeah.
We are.
You want to
we
do
are
like
clocking-
tarot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my cards.
Yes, please. Are these like your old faithful cards? Like these are always with you?
Oh, one popped out.
Oh, that's a sign. Oh my gosh, we have to have that
we
one.
can keep that one. Yeah, these are like my old faithful cards.
Is it mine because I was asking the question?
Sure.
I could see how it applies to both of you if you want. We could just leave it as like a general one on the table.
So are we doing two separate readings right now?
Yeah, what I would do is, do you have a specific idea, question, or thought in mind, or you want to just see what
Yes.
comes up? Yeah.
You want to do yours first. I feel your energy.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're like, you move the microphone, you're sitting up.
Yeah, he's like
He's
prepared.
ready.
Yeah, you're ready. This is your moment.
We can go for you.
I want.
The card is popping.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm a big believer, especially like within my therapy, of thinking of like the parts of us that exist,
Right.
and the parts of us that want and need to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to know like what part of me needs to kind of like step to the forefront right now for my like ultimate like joy and happiness, and for this like next journey of life that I'm on. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm definitely going to keep this card for that. 'Cause
Oh,
it's so aligned
wonderful.
with that, but we can get you to pull a couple extras and see. I would
Okay,
say
great.
Maybe pull two more.
That's two more in the center. That's too much in the center. Two more?
Mm-hmm. I was hoping you would pull that one too.
Why?
Sorry.
You already know what this one is?
No, but like there's always sometimes
You're like,
it'll
oh,
be
this
like pick a
one.
card and one's
But
like
I'll-
that.
can I
and
do
they
one
don't
more?
pick it. I'm like, yeah, but you can do one more if you want.
We gotta get the
Oh, that's a good one.
Cool.
Well, we don't know because those girls felt like they were like, they were like hidden,
And they're
and they're like, oh, you didn't see me.
slipping and sliding, dipping and diving.
Yeah.
I flipped the bottom of the deck over too because I always like to look at this for like an overall theme. And
Oh,
you
not
have
death.
no, but it's the death card reverse, and the death is
Oh,
honestly
death card reversed.
reverse, so it's life.
Reverse.
Uno reverse.
Uno reverse.
Uno reverse.
How is it reversed? Just because it's upside down
Because
right
it's
now?
upside down.
Okay.
Yeah. Now some people don't read.
That card's up and that card's
Yeah. See how these are opposite.
Okay.
So what does death card reverse?
I like this, especially when you look behind it. You've got this 8 of Swords reverse and this 5 of Swords reverse. So this is what we're looking at, just for everyone who's watching the
Okay.
video. And then do you want to flip these ones so I
Yes.
can see them?
Bring. We've got Queen of Wands.
Queen.
We've got Page of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And
And
reverse.
10 of Cups reverse. Okay.
10 of Cups reverse.
This is great. I enjoy this because part of what you're going to be moving through, these are usually good for like 6 months or something like that. I would say like part of what you need to really be moving through right now is understanding like the deeper parts of your psyche that don't allow the parts of you to express yourself that you want to express. And the reason I say that is because a Page of Wands is a card about learning. The page is like the youngest of the royal family.
Okay.
So when we look at a Page of Wands and a Page of Pentacles together, there are aspects of you that you want to invest into that maybe you haven't in the past. So that could be either like new projects, it could be something creative. It could honestly, because you've got the Scorpio energy here and this fire card, it could be something that's a little sexual, which is cool. It could be something that's just drives you passionately drives you forward.
Come.
With the Queen of Wands, she is an energy of like complete independence. So this is like, I'm not going to listen to whatever other people think. And with the 10 of Cups here reversed, part of the reason you don't want to listen to what other people think is because in the past, when you wanted to do something and then you got other people's opinions involved or their projected fears and shit, it didn't work out the way that it could have. You didn't find the success that you could have because you were like, fuck, I listened to this person, or I have this idea in my mind that's not even actually my own idea. So you're either building something that you don't really want, but someone's convinced you to build it, or you're not doing something that you want to do because someone else's fear is in your mind. Like we talked about with the mental body.
Yeah.
So the 10 of Cups reverse is really nice because this is saying like, okay, there's been certain failures, quote unquote, in the past. Some of this could also be from like the family dynamics or from relational dynamics, because the 10 of Cups, when it's good, is like healthy relationships, healthy family, healthy.
She's upside down.
But she's upside down. So she's like, okay, these things either that I'm doing or that I have done or that I experienced in the past, they've kind of skewed my understanding of myself.
Yep.
So what I want to do, Queen of Wands, is create more independence so that I can expand in a new way. And the best way to do that, you also might be thinking about either taking some type of new course, whether it's like a business course or a language course or a creative course. But this is like, how is it that I can follow my passion, learn something that is aligned with expanding that passion, but then because of the coin, how do I actually like consolidate it and invest into some type of new structure or pattern that could also potentially build? So if you're thinking of something over the next couple weeks or already around like, maybe I want to start investing in this or building that out or doing, like, this is saying it might take some time for sure, but
investing, you must have not seen the stock market today.
Oh, is it not good? I have no idea.
Very bad, very bad.
No.
Investment, this is the other thing. And
No.
No, but like the stuff with Saturn that we were talking about earlier, where like Saturn rules investments, but it's like, it's your investment of time, energy, money, love, attention. Like it's not physical money.
That is what I was thinking.
So this is really like, what new habits or new learning or new structures need to be established so that I can create more independence, so that I can actually turn this around and actually achieve that 10 of Cups.
Fill that cup.
Fill that cup.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with you.
How does that feel?
Great.
Did anything unlock for you?
Maybe.
Like, were there any light bulbs?
For sure, light bulbs.
Okay, good.
But I'm like trying to think of like where to what.
Yeah, you have to like let it settle.
That and let it settle.
Like let it wash over you and like sleep on it.
Yeah.
And, like, be like, how am I
But
gonna...
of course, light bulbs coming up. Thank you so much.
That's good.
Thank you. No crying.
No crying.
No
crying. I'm glad I'm not dying.
We tried not getting
upside down. Death.
Reverse.
The tears.
Reverse.
Life.
Draw 4.
Okay.
Do you have a question or anything specific?
My question was, because I feel very much like I'm in an active transition in my life, in what my calling is. There's a shift. And so I know strongly the direction I'm moving forward, and I'm a very passionate person. I just kind of want to know, in this year where there's a lot of question marks, what are 3 things I can look forward to?
Okay.
3?
Yeah.
Or things?
Yeah, let's see what things come
see
up,
what
but
things
like we
come
can
up.
aim for 3.
Yeah.
Do trying to formulate that question in a way that will like, maybe what are things that are hindering you from being able to experience those things? And then we can also look at what things could be coming forward. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Because sometimes it's more helpful to also realize like if there's opportunities coming our way, but energetically or like deep in the psyche for some reason, we keep like interfering with those opportunities coming. Like it's helpful to understand how I get involved and how to remove that
Cut
barrier.
the cord.
Yeah, exactly. Cut the cord.
Cut the cord.
Okay. All right.
Just
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's do on the left maybe barriers, and then on the right opportunities that are coming.
Okay.
Okay.
So how many am I choosing?
I would just choose 2, and
Each?
then
Or 4?
no, I would do
2,
1
1,
and 1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Barrier, opportunity.
And you can put them facing up so I can see them. Okay. That's barrier. You're good. An opportunity. Amazing. And then I'm going to close this, and we're going to look at the bottom as well. So the 3 of Wands is your overall energy, and a 3 of Wands This really is about your ships coming in. Okay. So it's like there are certain things that I want to manifest or things that I want to call into my life, and they're coming towards me. So this is an energy of them actually on their way. They are arriving. But the issue with the Three of Wands is sometimes the direction that we're looking in, we have these blinders on and we think, if I, for example, want to make all of this money, it's going to come from this job. It's going to come from this job. It's going to come from, and it's like, no, we need to take off the blinders, because the issue is that the energy is arriving. But if you are focused on these ships coming towards you, and every time the ship gets close, it goes in a different direction.
You see how he's got his face turned around? You see how
Right?
you can't see the boy's face? He's not looking in the right direction.
No, and that's
he's
literally
not looking in the right direction. I'm over here.
But who knows?
Turn around.
Who knows where it's coming from?
Every now and then.
Honey, okay. You need a little Kim it, honey. Just like I'm looking for the ship coming in.
Oh my
honey.
God. You need a wig, so every time you look, it's just shit.
I had one for
love that.
years. Yeah,
I bet.
A natural.
You've had?
Oh yeah, I had
you don't have
long
wigs?
hair forever.
Oh, your actual hair.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh no, I'm thinking like
An
you
actual
can
No,
choose color,
we have
styles.
wigs in the closet.
yeah, we do. We
Yeah,
Plenty
those
of
are
wigs.
plenty, yeah.
Okay, well maybe you need to wear some of those for this next adventure.
Oh,
because
okay.
maybe that's what's gonna call it in.
All right,
right?
maybe.
A new Medea series.
Yeah, it's
starring Chappelle.
Yes, exactly.
Medea's cousin.
Yeah.
This really is though about like if you're so focused on the ships coming in, you might miss the plane land behind you. So don't be so focused
God
on
it's
one
landing.
thing, but it is landing and it's coming in. You know,
Thank God it's lit.
right? Especially like
That's
Yeah,
nice.
in this environment. Now, the issue, when we look at the left card here, you've got this Two of Swords. So this Two of Swords really is about getting so stuck in the head and thinking that there are certain barriers that are maybe not actually barriers. And it's actually you keeping yourself in sort of like this self-imposed prison, being like, ooh, I don't actually know where I'm going, or I don't know this, or I don't know how to do that. But like she's holding the swords, and the swords rule air. Air is connected to our mind and our perspectives. So we might be holding on too tightly to some perspective, idea, or like mental framework that keeps us blinded from other opportunities of moving forward. And if you can actually say, okay, I'm going to drop focusing so much on the mental body and trying to like logistically plan this or strategically plan this, and instead follow the heart space, allow the next step to reveal itself. That really is you leaving. See how she's on the concrete here and it's like dry land? She's holding these swords. So she could put the swords down and take off the blindfold, and then she could actually walk herself into the water. The water is really important for you because you're a Scorpio, so you have to work with the water element. The water element is your emotional body. You are not going to get where you want to go thinking your way there. You're only going to get there by literally feeling into what is the next right step, even if it doesn't make sense to other people or me in this moment. And this is why we do our morning meditations. This is why you carve out 5 minutes in the morning to just breathe and settle your nervous system so that you're more open to that. Because as a Scorpio, you're so intuitive, but the only thing that's going to block your intuition is you getting stuck in the mind. So this is going to be the thing that is holding you back. The opportunity and where the opportunities are going to come from. This is the Hermit card.
Oh.
This literally is about
Baby,
taking...
that's the lady that knocked on the Beast's door in Beauty and the Beast and gave him
The
that
Enchantress.
rose.
Oh,
The
the Enchantress.
She knocked on the door and gave him that rose.
Don't you take that rose.
No, don't
What
you take that
is the
rose.
gag with the hermit?
The Hermit is amazing because the Hermit is actually about taking more time to yourself. This is about you needing more alone time and not listening to everybody, not being around so many people, not being overstimulated. This is about calming yourself down. And he holds this lantern and he's walking at night, which is literally what we've been talking about. The lantern only illuminates 3 or 4 steps. You're not going to see where the fuck you're going, but you're going to know, at least if I step in this direction, I'm not falling off a cliff. So that is deeply tied to like your guides, angels, God, whatever you believe in. But like you just being like, I can trust that as I walk this path that feels right to me and is not what I think I need to be doing or what other people are telling me to do. That's going to reveal itself. So this is where you're going to be able to find the majority of the opportunities over the coming months. And this is also a Virgo card, as we were talking about. So being able to also balance out working with the mind, but in a supportive way. Because the mind plays tricks on us. The mind lies to us. The mind has all these fears and programs. But if you're connected deeply enough to like what you're actually feeling, like, okay, this is actually safe for me. I do want to do this. I'm going to step forward. You can use the mind to then support a strategy that is heart-led, as opposed to letting the mind try to lead everything and you're just like along for the ride. You know what I mean? So 3 of Wands, it is coming in. It's likely going to be from a different angle. and you're not going to be able to think your way through that angle, you need to really just kind of like trust these things as they reveal themselves.
Think less.
Think less, literally
Feel
think
more.
less, feel more. And like, that's just honestly a note for every fucking
For
person.
everybody. Literally everybody.
Like, think less, feel more, you know?
So you know what's really interesting about that reading is what you just said is actually what I've been living in. Like I actually, when I saw the Hermit card, I did have like a little bit of like a moment because I have been saying to people last week, I didn't see anybody. I came, we did the podcast, but I was home working on my things that I'm working on. And I also was thinking about this, whatever this thing is, and constantly opening myself up to new avenues because you just never know what avenue is going to be the avenue.
Absolutely.
So this was actually a really interesting experience because I feel like the tarot card reading I had before was illuminating things I didn't know, and I feel like this reading it confirmed that I'm on the right path.
And that's like, I would say the majority of the feedback that I get from, like, there's almost like 1 million people on the Instagram account now. Like across the world, there's like well over 1 million, and we have like 11 million impressions every month of people who are coming and witnessing. Like the amount of people that are coming and accessing the free tarot card readings, the feedback that we get, like DMs, emails, comments, are people being like, this is exactly what I'm going through, that I think I'm fucking crazy, and you're now confirming that I'm actually not crazy. So I like working with tarot, not to be like, let me tell you your future, but in a way that's like, let me just confirm something for you that you already know. Because what that's actually doing is empowering you to trust yourself, as opposed to coming to me to tell you how to live your fucking life, you know? So that is the same theory and the same concept that we apply to like the workshops and the new moon and full moon stuff. It's just, I'm hoping to just like help paint a picture and help you understand what's going on, and to confirm something that you're like, I was feeling that. And a stranger on the internet somehow just told me that it's like aligned. Like, holy shit. Okay, I can trust myself, you know? Like, don't come to me hoping I'm gonna like fix your life and tell you what to do. I don't want to do that because I don't want you relying on me. I want you to now know that I just confirmed you're aligned already doing what you're doing. So like, hopefully the next 6 months, you're just like, no, I'm just going to trust myself because that guy confirmed that I can trust myself.
And also paying attention to the signs that this happened now to confirm, like, so that I know I can be more confident in stepping forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Chris.
Yes. What an amazing time that we've spent together.
But
before we part ways, do you have a scam of the week for us?
Oh my God, I do have a scam of the week.
Okay, what is scamming in your life?
It's just like ice in general, I find to be such a fucking scam,
Okay.
especially in New York, because I go, I'm not going to say where, but I go and get this like green juice that cost me $17 US.
This is fair. That is a scam.
30% of the cup is ice, and they
That
pull
is
the green
fair.
juice out of the fucking fridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, that's cold. Unless those ice cubes are made of green juice, don't put them in my thing. It like
You're watering down my drink.
no,
Also with the
literally.
cocktail.
Listen up, Starbucks.
Yeah, the
but also with the
cocktail,
cocktail. I ordered a cocktail the other day and they filled the glass up. I hate when they do all that glass in there.
No.
I came here for a drink.
I personally
literally.
like the ice with the
You
cocktail.
love ice.
I love ice.
Well, I'm not saying no ice.
But, no,
There's
I
a
know.
time and a place.
Yeah, give me
There's
a little ice.
It's not
It's
in my
also-
cold green juice already. It's not
That's
there.
fair. That's
I don't want
fair.
ice with my juice. It should be chilled.
It is
But I do
chilled.
want
That's
ice
the
with
problem.
Coca-Cola.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair because
I
you're
want
getting it
ice.
in
But
the can.
a drink and an alcoholic beverage costs more than
And
Coca-Cola.
I know that green juice costs $15.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my bagel order every morning here is like $29.
I love how you say
It's so Canadian.
bagel.
He's so Canadian.
Bagel?
The way he says out, the way he says
How do you say bagel?
bagel.
Bagel?
Yes, but my friend
Bagel.
brought you say Vegas.
Vegas?
He says Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah.
What part of
Vegas
Canada
nerd.
are you from?
I'm from Ontario, so like Toronto area, yeah.
Okay.
I know you said Hamilton earlier, and I was like, "You're from Hamilton?" I'm like, "Oh my God, he's talking about the play."
Chris, thank you so much for being
you.
here.
Yeah,
to
this
our
is
listeners, I hope it brought you some insight. I hope you're feeling the moons and the Mars and the Plutos and the Jupiters.
And now you know all our business.
And now you know our
Right.
business.
Okay.
Daddy
you know how-
Saturn, honey.
Daddy Saturn.
Yeah.
Saturn.
Bye, booze.